All right, label out.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Karl Smart here with the Outerhaven.net at PAX 2017 here in lovely Melbourne, Australia, where nobody can see the sky, but they still complain about the weather. I'm here with Joe from the Dell Global Marketing team, if I remember correctly. Close enough. And we're just sort of going to go through the idea of sort of what's out at Dell this year. There's peripherals, there's screens, there's PCs, there's stuff that, well, my wallet goes, I can't afford it. So straight up, we'll go straight to the obvious question. What's new at Dell this year, Joe?
Well, this year we have a bunch of new desktops, new peripherals, new screens. We have two 34-inch curved displays that we've just launched, both over 100 hertz refresh, both G-Sync. One is WQHD, one is WFHD. Brand new, they're here at the show. They also have two different radiuses. One is 1900, one is 3800, and they're on display here at the show, and they're available locally here. The WFHD launches in November, so the QHD is out now. We also have a 25-inch FreeSync display here in Australia that runs at over 200 hertz. Works with any graphics card shipping. If you have an AMD graphics card, it'll be with FreeSync. We don't have the G-Sync one here in country, but we do have the FreeSync one. And then on our desktops, we just launched new Coffee Lake, Intel Coffee Lake CPUs. They're 6-core versus 4-core, and it's Intel's latest generation. We're one of the first OEMs to even offer them. And then over the summer, we launched, right around PAX in Seattle, we launched Intel's new Skylake X platform, which is 6 to 18 core i9 processors. And we're offering that here as well. The 18 core just recently launched. It's not available in Australia yet. It's not really available in the world yet, but we have launched it in some of the countries already. But it'll be here in weeks down here in Australia. So those are the big things. In the new Skylake X platform, again, is built around Intel's latest multi-core technology, and it rocks. And we have Optane in our new Intel or Aurora desktop. I mean, that's the big broad strokes. We also have two keyboards, two mice, all four available here. They're using Brown-like mechanical switches. One has an RGB backlight, the other one doesn't. And it's a multi-zone, 13-zone backlight on the one that is backlit. And then we have two mice, a basic mouse, we call it the advanced mouse, but it's just a great, simple mouse you want to get started with. Then we have a pro mouse, which is multi-buttons. You can have 6 or 2 on the left, has weights. The palm rest opens and closes to enhance size. Comes with multiple sides, so if you have a claw or you're a...
So basically, finally something that fits sort of a clodhopper like mine.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing I find with mice, because they're all that standard size, usually about the size of an iPhone or something like that. I find that I basically can go like that, and that's, claw over the top, and, well, that's uncomfortable and it hurts my wrist.
Yeah.
So to have something that sort of opens out that can become a bit larger was good.
But like the palm rest will extend out, so it'll give you an extra 2 inches, or not 2, probably an extra inch or 25 mil of pull. Yeah.
I'll throw the measurements up on the screen later.
Yep. So let's see, we might have one, and that's the basic mouse. There we go. Here we go. Yep.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. So this one, we have mechanical switches, or they're up top. This is also metal, and you can even get actuation way here if you are a claw, versus a palm. This slides out, so you can get more rest for your palm. That is. These pop off, just magnets. This is the 2-button. There's also a 6-button version, and then this is the smaller. Let me see here. No, that's actually the wider one. We have a thinner one. All this comes with the mouse. And then we have weights. 4 different weights you can weight the mouse with in the back as well.
And as little as we can get.
And these are available here. Pricing, Australian pricing, probably $1 million.
Yeah, you gotta love that terrible exchange rate at the moment. But so I know it's still a bit far away from the camera of the show, but
Well, you're welcome
this
to
is
zoom in on it a little bit.
oh, definitely.
But
that
that's available here. It also has our lighting, our triad lighting. So it'll work with all of our games. There's 130 different games that use that lighting package.
see, that's already more comfortable. Just for people who can't see what I'm doing, I've actually pulled the extender down at the back. For someone like me who's a bit larger-handed, that's actually a lot more comfortable, and it actually supports better in my hand than it would as a standard-sized mouse. So it's good. It's good to see that, you know, the old school one-size-fits-all philosophy doesn't exist when it comes to the Alienware mouse at the moment. This was the Pro, if I remember correctly. Yes.
$179. RRP. What is it? RRP means retail.
Retail rip-off price. Recommended retail pricing.
Well, we do ship them in gold down here.
So that was the $1 million one you were talking about earlier.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Let's pass that back to Beck off screen. Now, one thing I got to ask about, like, I'm sitting here, we're sitting in a little booth just outside your big booth, and I'm seeing this absolutely gorgeous dual screen monitor in front of me. Tell us a little bit more about this beautiful little thing that I'm seeing here that I really want to take home when you guys aren't looking.
So it's a brand new display. We just launched it just recently, actually, and it's a 34-inch curved display. It runs at 3440 by 1440. It's this is 120 hertz. Has G-Sync. Also, I don't even know how many input ports there are, but there's a ton of input ports. It also has a keyboard mouse KVM. So when you switch inputs, it'll go ahead and switch the mouse and keyboard that's also connected to it. Well, here, let's do it proper and let's get rid of this. Then we can just peek out like Waldo. So it does have lighting as well, but lighting is on the back because the last thing you want when you're gaming is for lighting to be blinking and flashing right in your eye line. So this logo here, which of course they can't see, but it's right here, that lights up. These lights light up, and it also illuminates the port area. And then, of course, we have a height adjustable stand that does tilt, swivel, has cable management that goes in through the display here, and then out the back here. And, of course, it does have a VESA mount. You can press this button and the stand comes off, so you can mount it on a standard VESA mount. Yeah, and that's available down here as well. Right. And this is $19.99. I do know that. Down here, retail price. So
it is a bit hefty, but that'd definitely be well worth the $1.
Well, and the way we designed that product, we know that that's not typically a dual screen config, or if you do have a second screen, it's going to be very small. And that's typically for your chat window, maybe your voice window. But that gives a full field of view. They're IPS panels, 4 millisecond access time, great wide viewing area, incredibly strong color contrast. So that's the last monitor you're going to need for 10 years.
Yeah, well, so I'm assuming something like that you'd be able to use the DisplayPort syncing and get, say, if you get 3 of those and really sort of go the wide gamut.
Well, you can. You can plug in as many as the graphics card on the system has. We don't do, it's called DP chaining, I think is what you mean. We don't do that from display to display to display. So we don't support that, but we do have, like on this Area 51, you could have 3 of them running in unison. You could have more than that.
Yeah.
It depends on how many graphics cards you have in the system.
Oh, well, any decent gamer would have at least 2. But speaking of the Area 51s I've seen around for at least that case configuration particularly I've seen for a couple of years. They're still selling well. They're still, the high-end product from what I've seen.
So we actually launched this 3 years ago at my first PAX here in Australia. And that first started with a Haswell processor, then a Broadwell processor. Now it has the Skylake X processor. And again, it's still doing great. There's still, I mean, it's not a big audience worldwide. I think that starts down here at $29.99. I'm not exactly sure. I'm sure I'll be told quickly if I'm wrong.
Estimated values do differ.
Oh, there we go.
$24.99.
Even better. We do offer, again, 6, 8, 10 core. Very shortly, you'll be able to get an 18 core. That'll be more than $24.99. But it's still the flagship of our brand, and this is one of the most popular streaming boxes for certainly the people we're involved with for Twitch and for YouTube streaming and that kind of stuff, because it's a powerhouse.
Hopefully, I'd like to join those ranks at some point. Thankfully, my internet connection is good enough now that I'm able to actually start streaming again.
Yeah.
But
you finally got NBN?
Yeah,
NBN?
Yeah, NBN, or as you guys call it, the slowest thing on planet.
We were talking about that at breakfast. My internet connection at home is only 100.
Only 100. Yeah, that's the maximum we get here.
That's pretty slow for the U.S., right? That's the fastest I can get. I can't get gigabit.
These Americans, man, I tell you. But the other thing that I don't think we have any, or we might do, the keyboards that you were talking about.
So again, our peripheral strategy, because we're not trying to, we didn't launch 50 keyboards, right? We launched 2. And the way
I got 3 here.
Well, yeah, I'll show each one to you. So, let's see here. Yeah, this is what comes with the systems. That's crap. So we have 2 keyboards here. We have our Pro and our Advanced. This is a great basic mechanical brown light switch keyboard. It does have some lighting, and this illuminates down here at the bottom. But we wanted to make just a great all-around keyboard for someone who doesn't want to spend. I mean, I don't know how much keyboards are down here. I know in the U.S. you can buy keyboards for $250. So.
Yeah, so it was anything halfway decent will be about $150 to $200 minimum, somewhere ranging about the $400 price. I'm quite sure Beck's about to tell us what the actual pricing is. The Advance is $169, and the Pro is $240. So, yeah, in about the range I was speaking.
Right. So, what we wanted to do is these are brown light switches. They're tested to 50 million key actuations. We have metal support structures, so you can just bang the hell out of this. Because again, you tend to get a little bit excited when you're a gamer. Obviously, a great layout. It's got a 4mm pitch and stroke, and it's also quiet. Again, it's a brown type switch, not a red or one of the others. We have basic lighting here. The keyboard had to light up. This illuminates down through here. On this one, there are 13 zones, and also a different color. So it has that more of the, we call it Epic Silver. And then this one, again, the exact same switch is just backlit. So
the lighting range, obviously the full RGB spectrum.
Oh yeah, yeah, up to 20 million colors per zone.
20 million colors per zone. So I'm guessing fancy patterns, waves, all sorts of stuff. You really want to make yourself sort of all spruce moose and all that?
Yeah, you can. You can program each zone to do whatever you want. It also works with 130 of the games that we support through AlienFX. So Battlefield, the best example I have. You want to make the keyboard mirror your health, so it starts green and goes to red. So that way, as you're gaming, all of a sudden, just through your peripheral vision, all of a sudden your keyboard's getting redder and redder and redder. You know it's time to get some health.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I could see something for someone like me who's a bit of a PUBG gamer. You know, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds,
yeah,
obviously being one of the popular ones at the moment. Having that type of health system on there would be great, but then again, at the same time, I still die in 2 seconds, so why does that really matter?
Yeah, these are available down here as well. And again,
169 and 240 respectively.
Yep.
So outside of that, I think we pretty much covered most of it, haven't we?
We did. The only other thing, again, I want to talk about this. We have a 25-inch display with less than 1 millisecond access time, over 200 hertz, 240. And that is really designed for someone who's really training to be in esports. Because all esports arenas are just single monitor, FHD, because it's also an FHD display. We use this on ESL tournaments in the States. But again, this is designed to be your. I want to be the. If I want to train, this is what you train on. Of course, if you want to run dual. Extremely thin borders. I don't know if you can tell, but very, very narrow borders. This is a TN panel, a wide view TN, again, to get that 240 hertz. But also, you want that sub 1 millisecond because you're training. And we use a ton of these for ESL tournaments in the States.
Yeah, I think the refresh I've got on mine is at 1 millisecond. Yep. So to get something sub 1 millisecond would be even better at this stage. And of course, as you're showing, it's got the full tilt, swivel, cable management. I'm guessing this type of thing is going to be sort of stock standard on all Dell and Alienware monitors from here on out with the cable management, the swivel, or...
Yeah. No, I mean, we have two brands. We have Alienware and Dell, and if you buy an Alienware product, you have certain expectation that you have the accoutrements. It's kind of like if you buy a Lexus, you want leather seats. You don't want to have to upgrade to leather seats. So all of our displays have this height adjustable stand that does tilt, swivel, cable management. It's all built in. We have lighting in every single one as well. So that's just kind of how we start our table stakes. Because again, you're spending more for Alienware. You expect the extras.
Yeah, exactly. One last thing, I suppose, before we wrap things up. Anything new in the laptop range? Because I know Alienware laptops are still considered top of the line. The ones to beat that nobody seems to be able to. We got anything coming up, or anything you've got out here on the show floor that I'll be able to show people?
So our notebooks were updated to Kaby Lake in January, and so that's still the current processor, still 1060, 1070, 1080. The 13 has a 1050 and 1050 Ti. Still have that beautiful OLED screen, which if you haven't seen it, you got to check out that 13-inch with OLED. It's amazing. Other than that, we've updated with more memory since we launched, but not much more. They were updated earlier this year. They still support the graphics amplifier, which is one of the things we also launched at this show 4 shows ago, but 3 years ago, the Alienware Graphics Amp, and then that allows you to upgrade to future graphics. I know I've run into people, not on this trip, but last year when I was here, they bought a system 2 years earlier and they upgraded to the 10 series, and now they have a notebook that's got a new lease on life. But they're still the same notebooks we had in January.
Oh, as long as what works, and just keep going and making bigger. Well, I suppose not bigger and better. You want to go smaller and better in the case of a laptop. Well, at this point, there's anything else, or have we covered it all?
So the only other new thing we've done since, let's see here, we started a new sort of brand within Dell, because Dell does own Alienware. We have a Dell gaming range now. We have a laptop and a desktop, and they're on display here at the stand on the other side of this booth. And we have a very, I don't want to use the word entry level, but certainly a great desktop and notebook for more of people on a budget. And we know that your passion for gaming is not driven by your budget. You can be just as passionate and be a hardcore player and be only able to spend $1,000 versus $2,000 versus $5,000. And so the Alienware team, and I've been part of the Alienware team for 2003, so long time. And so we also took over the Dell gaming products because we wanted to build in that authenticity and that genuineness into those gaming products. So we have 2 on display here. We have our notebook, a 15-inch, great 15-inch notebook, and then the Dell gaming desktop, which is based on Ryzen's technology, AMD Ryzen. We have the 468 core options here in Australia, and I think it's $19.99 for a well-apportioned 1060 R7X, I believe, system here on display as well. So, and they work with all the Alienware peripherals. Also on display, we have the Dell Visor. I don't know if you've seen that. It's a Microsoft ecosystem-based HMD. We've got that on display here as well. And then, of course, we also have a green screen Oculus or HTC event where you're playing this game in virtual reality in a green room here at the booth, and everyone watching can see you inside the game as you're playing. So it's almost like you're seated inside the game on the display.
Yeah, that sort of sounds a bit weird. It's like It's like to you, you're in a green room just doing all this, and everybody sees what you're doing except you, which makes you look like an idiot. But,
well, but you're wearing the visor.
Oh,
so
yeah.
You're in there anyway. So yeah, check it out.
Yeah, I sort of saw it on the way in. I've definitely got to check it out at some point. Might even go in there and make myself look like a fool, but I do that quite often. But
and with VR, it's so much fun.
Very true. Well, that pretty much is all I guess we're going through. So once again, thank you very much,
Great.
Joe, for taking us through the products. I would love to sort of be able to review these in the future, or at least look at them and make it go, oh, so pretty. But yeah, thank you so much for your time, and enjoy your time here at PAX, and I guess we might see you again next year.
Yes, I hope so.